We're taking a deep dive into the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that, for many, might seem like just another piece of currency from the 70s. But trust me, there's more to this coin than meets the eye, including its incredible value that could make your jaw drop. So, let's get started. What makes the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar so special? And why is it worth up to $1.4 million? Stick around because you're in for a fascinating journey. First, let's look at the history. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, just after President John F. Kennedy was tragically assassinated in 1963. The U.S. Mint decided to honor him by placing his profile on the obverse side of the coin. This coin became a lasting tribute to the beloved president, and it's been in circulation ever since. Now, the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar isn't necessarily rare in the traditional sense. Millions were struck in that year, and the coin was intended for regular circulation. However, what makes the 1977 version of this coin stand out is the condition and rarity of certain specimens. Now, let's talk a little bit about how these coins were made. The 1977 Kennedy half-dollar was struck at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The coins minted in Philadelphia had no mint mark, while those minted in Denver carried the D-mint mark. This is common, and it's important to understand because the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value today. Coins like the 1977 half-dollar were typically struck with a high volume, but over time, many of these coins were worn down due to circulation. This is why high-grade or uncirculated versions of this coin are so valuable. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While most 1977 Kennedy half-dollars are worth just a few dollars in typical condition, there are some extremely rare coins that have been discovered with unique qualities. These coins are often graded by professional services like the PCGS or NGC, and they're given a grade based on their condition, from poor to mint state. Some of these 1977 coins, particularly those in perfect mint condition, have been sold at auction for jaw-dropping amounts of money. For instance, a special specimen of the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar was once sold for a whopping $1.4 million. So, how did this happen? Well, a coin with the perfect grade, especially one that's never been in circulation and has been preserved in pristine condition, is considered a true rarity. If a coin has a pristine surface, with no signs of wear or damage, collectors go crazy for it. So, you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these rare, high-value coins? Well, here are a few things to look for in your 1977 Kennedy half-mint condition. As we mentioned, ungraded coins that are in pristine condition can fetch thousands, even millions. Look for coins that have sharp details, no scratches, and are as close to perfect as possible that are no wear or damage. The key here is to find coins that have been kept in pristine condition, not touched, scratched, or dinged up. Any blemish can significantly lower the value. Unique features sometimes. There are subtle design variations or even errors that can make a coin especially valuable. Some Kennedy half-dollars have been discovered with minting errors that are incredibly rare. Okay, so you found a 1977 Kennedy half-dollar that looks like it might be worth something. What's next? Well, for those who think they might have a rare coin on their hands, it's important to get it professionally graded. This will give you an accurate assessment of its value. Once graded, you can sell it through reputable auction houses or at specialized coin dealers. There are also online platforms where you can buy and sell coins, but always be cautious and make sure you're dealing with a trusted source. Why is there such a huge demand for a coin like the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar? Well, it's a combination of factors. First, it's the legacy of President Kennedy. Second, it's the scarcity of coins in perfect condition, which makes them incredibly valuable to collectors. And let's not forget, the world of rare coin collecting is full of enthusiasts who want to own a piece of history, even if that piece is a 1977 coin. So, while not every 1977 Kennedy half-dollar is worth a fortune, there's certainly a chance that you could stumble upon a hidden gem that could be worth a lot of money. If you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition or with a unique error, you could be looking at a windfall worth $1.4 million, or even more. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar. This coin might seem ordinary at first, but it holds some extraordinary secrets, including a shocking value of over $1 million. Stick around as we explore its history, rarity, and why it could be sitting in your collection right now, just waiting to make you a fortune. The Kennedy half-dollar, a coin beloved by collectors, has been in circulation since 1964, but today, we're focusing on a particular year, 1998. You might be wondering, why is this coin so valuable? After all, the Kennedy half-dollar isn't exactly the rarest coin out there. But there's more to the story than meets the eye. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, just a few months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The U.S. Mint decided to honor the late president by replacing the Benjamin Franklin half-dollar with Kennedy's likeness, designed by Gilroy Roberts. This coin became an instant symbol of the nation's mourning and respect. Over the decades, the design of the Kennedy half-dollar has remained largely unchanged, though there have been some variations in mint marks, composition, and production methods. The 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar is particularly interesting because, despite being a common coin, one specific variety has garnered incredible attention for its value. In 1998, the Philadelphia Mint produced a batch of Kennedy half-dollars with a P mint mark. These coins were released into circulation, along with their deminted counterparts from Denver. But here's where things get interesting. Most of the 1998 P coins were struck with the same quality as the rest, but it's the 1998 P Kennedy half-dollar that's standing out for one very specific reason: errors. In particular, a very rare variety of the 1998 P Kennedy half-dollar exists, with an off-center strike and additional minting defects that make it a true gem in the world of coin collecting. Now, let's get to the good part, the value. You might have heard that some of these 1998 P Kennedy half-dollars are worth upwards of $1.1 million. But how? Well, in 2019, a special 1998 P Kennedy half-dollar with a notable error was sold at auction for a mind-blowing $1.1 million. This particular coin was not only a rare mint error but also in exceptional condition, which is what made it so valuable. This error coin featured an off-center strike, which is a mistake made during the minting process. When a coin is struck too far off-center, it can drastically reduce the quality of the design, making it much rarer than typical mint errors. Combine that with its near-perfect condition, and you have a coin that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these million-dollar coins in my collection? Well, here are a few tips. First, check the mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. It should be a P for Philadelphia. Next, inspect the coin for any signs of minting errors, like off-center strikes, double dies, or missing details. If you find something that looks unusual, make sure to have it professionally graded by a trusted coin grader to determine its value. Coins in mint condition with minimal wear and tear tend to be worth more. The grading system ranges from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. A coin with a grade of 65 or higher, especially with an error, can fetch significant amounts at auction. Even if you don't have a 1998 P Kennedy half-dollar that's worth a fortune, there's still plenty of opportunity for beginners to get involved in coin collecting. Here are a few tips for starting your collection. Start with something that interests you, whether it's a particular year, mint mark, or series of coins. Buy from reputable dealers and always ensure you're purchasing genuine items. And don't forget to check your pocket change regularly. There's always the chance you'll find a hidden treasure. To recap, the 1998 P Kennedy half-dollar is an excellent example of how a simple coin can turn into a collector's dream, with rare mint errors making some examples worth millions. If you come across one of these coins, make sure to inspect it closely. It could be worth more than you ever imagined. We're focusing on a special coin that's likely hiding in your collection or could be right in your pocket right now: the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar. We'll uncover its history, explain why it's so significant, and reveal why one of these coins could be worth a whopping $1.3 million. So, if you're ready, grab your magnifying glass, and let's dive into the story behind this iconic coin. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was released as part of the U.S. Mint's effort to commemorate the life and legacy of President John F. Kennedy, who tragically passed away in 1963. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced just months after Kennedy's assassination in 1964, with the intent to honor the beloved president. Over the years, these coins became not just symbols of his legacy, but also valuable pieces of American numismatic history. In 1971, the design of the Kennedy half-dollar underwent a significant change. The coin transitioned from being made primarily of 90% silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This was part of a larger shift in U.S. coinage during the 1960s and early 70s, as silver prices were rising and the government wanted to reduce costs. Now, the 1971 coin had a sleek, modern look with a reeded edge and was minted in both proof and regular circulation strikes. But what really makes this coin special is its association with the broader historical context of President Kennedy's memory. On the front, or obverse, of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, you'll find a beautiful portrait of President Kennedy designed by artist Gilroy Roberts. The likeness is based on a photograph of Kennedy taken shortly before his assassination. The design is striking, capturing both his youth and presidential charisma. Above the portrait, you'll notice the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, with the year of minting, 1971, just below the bust. On the reverse side, we have an eagle with a shield on its chest, which was designed by Frank Gasparo. The reverse also includes the coin's denomination, half-dollar, as well as the words United States of America and E pluribus unum. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While the coins from Denver and Philadelphia were struck for regular circulation, the San Francisco Mint produced special proof versions for collectors. These proof coins are often shiny, mirror-like, and show incredible detail, making them highly desirable among coin collectors. But here's the kicker. The 1971 coin wasn't produced in large quantities compared to earlier years, making it rarer today than some of the more common coins in the series. So, how much is your 1971 Kennedy half-dollar really worth? Well, in its regular circulation state, the coin is generally worth just its face value, 50 cents. However, depending on its condition, whether it's a proof coin, and the market, its value can go up. A 1971 proof coin can sell for anywhere from $5 to $20 depending on condition, and whether it's graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Now, what about the big jackpot? There are some rare and unique 1971 Kennedy half-dollars that have sold for astonishing amounts, especially if they feature certain errors or minting anomalies. Here's where things get really interesting. One particular 1971 Kennedy half-dollar has achieved legendary status in the world of coin collecting. In 2019, a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar that was mistakenly struck on a copper planchet instead of a copper-nickel planchet was discovered. This error coin is considered one of the most valuable Kennedy half-dollars in existence. Why? Well, this unique coin was sold for an astounding $1.3 million at a public auction. The rarity of this error and the fact that it's such a historically significant piece of U.S. coinage made it a must-have for the highest level of collectors. So, how can you identify if your 1971 Kennedy half-dollar could be worth millions? Look closely at the edge and weight of the coin. The 1971 error coin was noticeably lighter than the typical coin, and it had a strange copper color, which came from the copper core of the planchet. It's important to remember that this is an extremely rare occurrence, and most 1,971 coins you come across will not have this error. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar is much more than just a coin. It's a piece of American history, a tribute to a president whose legacy lives on. While most 1971 Kennedy half-dollars are worth face value, those with rare errors or special conditions can fetch eye-watering prices at auctions. And who knows, you might just find one of those hidden gems in your own collection. We're diving into the fascinating history of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar coin, its value, and how it could be worth up to $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. So, make sure to stay tuned because we've got some incredible details to share with you. Before we dive deep into the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, let's take a quick look at the coin's origins. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964 following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was designed to honor him, and it's been in production ever since, though its design has gone through a few changes over the years. Now, the coin initially featured a full-bodied portrait of JFK, but over time, it's evolved slightly, especially in terms of its minting and the designs on the reverse side. Today, we'll focus on the 1972 version, a coin that holds a unique place in U.S. numismatic history. Let's start with the design of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar. As with most Kennedy halves, the obverse features President Kennedy's iconic portrait, designed by sculptor Gilroy Roberts. What makes the 1972 edition interesting, though, is that it's a part of a series of coins minted just before the major changes that would come in the later years. On the reverse, we see the American eagle holding a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing peace and strength, designed by Frank Gasparo. The eagle is a national emblem that's remained a staple in many U.S. coins, and it's really beautifully detailed here. One interesting fact about the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar is that it was part of a series of coins minted in large quantities during the early 70s. But this is where it gets interesting. Many of the coins, including this one, are often overlooked by casual collectors. And as we'll see, that's what makes them valuable today. Now, here's the kicker. There are rare varieties of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar that can make these coins worth much more than their face value. When we're talking about rare coins, it's all about minting errors, and with the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, a few key varieties stand out. One of the most sought-after varieties is the 1972 DDO, or double die obverse. This coin has a noticeable doubling effect on the date and lettering on the obverse side. It's a rare minting error where the coin was struck twice, and you can easily spot the doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust. Now, why does this matter? Well, as with most rare coins, if you find one of these errors, you've got a highly valuable piece on your hands. Coins like these have been known to sell for thousands of dollars, but it doesn't stop there. Hold on to your hats, because here's where things get really exciting. Believe it or not, there have been 1972 Kennedy half-dollars that have been valued at up to $1.5 million. That's right. A coin minted more than 50 years ago could be worth that much today. Now, the most valuable 1972 Kennedy half-dollars are those that are in mint condition, known as uncirculated or proof coins. These coins have been kept in perfect condition, often in protective cases, and haven't been circulated in daily use. The highest grade coins have been valued at over $100,000 in auction sales, but it's the rare minting errors, like that double die I mentioned, that can push their value into the millions. What's also key is the overall rarity. Not every 1972 Kennedy half-dollar will be worth this much. The true worth comes from a combination of factors: condition, rarity, and error types. But the $1.5 million coin is not just an urban legend. It's real, and it has sold for that price in the past. So, how can you spot a valuable 1972 Kennedy half-dollar? Let's break it down. First, check the coin's condition. A coin that's been circulated heavily will show signs of wear, like scratches, discoloration, or even deep gouges. If you find a coin that looks almost brand new, that's a good sign it might be worth more. Next, look for errors. The 1972 DDO is the most famous, but there are also other varieties to watch for. If you notice doubled lettering or numbers, it could be worth getting that coin appraised. Finally, get it graded by a professional. There are grading companies like PCGS and NGC that can give your coin a grade based on its condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Now, if you're wondering how much a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar might be worth today, it really depends on the coin itself. Some uncirculated coins might fetch anywhere from $15 to $50. But if you find a rare double die or a coin in pristine condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins like these are often sold at auction, and sometimes the prices can skyrocket, especially if there's a bidding war among collectors. But it's always important to have your coin evaluated by a professional before you get too excited about any value. So, there you have it, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that's simple in design, but holds incredible value for collectors. If you've got one of these in your collection, it might just be worth taking a second look. Whether it's a mint condition coin or one with a rare error, the Kennedy half-dollar is a shining example of how much the world of coin collecting has to offer. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips and tricks on rare coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update. Also, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you've got a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar in your collection. I'd love to hear from you. We're diving into a very special coin, the 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar. Now, you may be wondering, what's so special about a coin from 1971? Well, you're about to find out, because this coin has quite the fascinating story, a surprising value, and yes, it could actually be worth $1.2 million. Stick around to find out how this small piece of history could make you a fortune. And make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're into coins and their hidden secrets. The year 1971 was significant in American history, not just for politics, music, or pop culture, but also in the world of coin collecting. It was the first year the U.S. Mint introduced the Kennedy half-dollar in a special format, the 1971 P version. Let's rewind for a second. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was a tribute to him, with the obverse, that's the front side, featuring a portrait of Kennedy himself, created by the artist Gilroy Roberts. The reverse side features the presidential seal, which was designed by Frank Gasparo. But in 1971, something changed. The U.S. Mint began producing Kennedy half-dollars at the Philadelphia Mint, marking a new chapter for the coin. And the P mint mark, which you can find on the coin, signified that it was struck in Philadelphia. In fact, the 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most iconic issues of the series. Now, let's talk about the design of the coin. On the obverse, as I mentioned, you'll see President John F. Kennedy's profile, facing left. The simple but powerful. Surrounding the portrait, you'll see the words Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year 1971. Flip it over, and the reverse side shows the classic presidential seal with the eagle, arrows, and olive branches. You'll also see the inscription United States of America and half-dollar. If you look closely at the rim, you'll spot the P mint mark, which was used on coins produced in Philadelphia. From a design perspective, it's a beautiful piece of numismatic art, but it wasn't necessarily a coin that collectors were raving about at the time. And that's why it's so interesting that today, certain 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollars are worth so much. Alright, now here's where things get really exciting, the value of the 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar. You might be thinking, I've seen these coins before, they're everywhere. And while that's true, there are certain key factors that can make a 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar worth a small fortune. First, let's address the general value of a 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar. In typical circulated condition, you can find these coins for anywhere between 50 cents to $2, depending on wear and tear. But here's the catch. Some 1971 P coins have special errors that can make them worth significantly more. Now, imagine finding a 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar in near mint or mint condition. A coin like that, in perfect grade, could fetch upwards of $10 to $20. But here's where it gets insane. If you find one with a unique error, like a double die or a rare strike, its value could skyrocket. Now, let's talk about the $1.2 million question. What makes a 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar worth up to $1.2 million? Well, in recent years, a particularly rare 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar with a specific type of minting error has been sold at auction for $1.2 million. This coin has a unique double die error. What does that mean? Essentially, during the minting process, the coin was struck twice, which resulted in the design being slightly misaligned, leading to a visible doubling of the lettering and elements on the coin. These types of errors are extremely rare, and when they're found, they can send collectors into a bidding frenzy. A coin like this doesn't just show up on your regular coin shop counter. It's a treasure found by only the most diligent collectors, and it can turn into a fortune. If you have a 1971 P. Kennedy half-dollar, take a good look at it and inspect it for any errors or unique characteristics. You never know. You could be holding a rare gem. If your coin looks almost like it's fresh off the minting press, it's worth more. As mentioned, errors like the double die are worth a lot. Look closely at the letters and numbers on the coin for any unusual doubling or misprints. Some coins come with subtle design changes, like a filled or missing mint mark. These can sometimes be worth much more than the standard issue. Don't be afraid to get your coin evaluated by a professional if you think it might be valuable. You can also check auction sites like eBay to get a sense of how much certain versions are going for. So, there you have it, the 1971 P. Kennedy $50. It's not just a piece of history, but a coin that could potentially change your life if you find the right one. Keep an eye out for those mint errors, and make sure to inspect your collection carefully. You never know when you might stumble upon a coin worth $1.2 million or more. We're diving deep into its history, value, and some amazing finds that have left collectors in awe, including a $50 coin that sold for an astonishing $1.3 million. So, stick with us, and let's explore the story behind this iconic coin. The 1974 Kennedy $50 was issued as part of the ongoing U.S. series honoring President John F. Kennedy, who was tragically assassinated in 1963. But what makes this particular coin interesting? Well, let's rewind a bit. In 1964, just 1 year after Kennedy's death, the U.S. Mint began striking the Kennedy $50 to honor his memory. The design features Kennedy's profile on the obverse, created by Gilroy Roberts, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. On the reverse, we see the presidential seal, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, designed by Frank Gasparo, show a zoomed-in image of the obverse and reverse designs. While Kennedy $50 were first struck in 1964, by 1971, the mint switched from 90% silver to a copper-nickel composition due to rising silver prices. This meant that by 1974, the coin was primarily made of copper and nickel, making it less valuable in terms of raw material, but still highly collectible for numismatists. Show a close-up of a 1974 coin with the clad composition label. Now, let's take a closer look at the 1974 Kennedy $50 itself. This coin is part of the regular U.S. Mint's coinage for that year. It was issued for general circulation, and as you'd expect, many of them are still found in pocket change today. The 1974 $50 features a few key inscriptions: Liberty above Kennedy's head, In God We Trust, to the right of his profile, and of course, the year 1974. The reverse design, featuring the eagle and the words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $50, remains the same as earlier issues. Here's where things get really interesting. In 1974, the Kennedy $50 was minted in two varieties: the regular version, which was made for circulation, and the proof version, which was specially made for collectors. Proof coins were struck with a special, high-quality finish, making them stand out as collectors' items. These proof coins were sold in limited quantities, adding to their appeal for those who are serious about numismatics. So, how much is the 1974 Kennedy $50 worth today? Well, most 1974 coins, whether circulated or uncirculated, are worth face value just 50 cents. The proof versions are a little more valuable, typically selling for around $3 to $5 depending on the condition. Cut to images of typical 1974 Kennedy $50 in various conditions. But here's where it gets exciting. You see, there's always a chance that a coin could be more valuable than expected if it has rare characteristics. One such characteristic is the D mint mark, which signifies the coin was minted in Denver. It's also worth noting that some collectors search for coins with unique die errors or rare variants. In 2019, a 1974 Kennedy $50 made headlines after it sold for an incredible $1.3 million at auction. This coin wasn't just any ordinary $50. It was a rare, high-grade, near-perfect specimen, known as a double die variety. Show images of the coin with highlighted areas showing the die error. Now, what does double die mean? It refers to a minting error where the die that strikes the coin was misaligned during production, resulting in a doubling effect on certain elements of the design. In this case, The doubling was most noticeable on the Liberty and "In God We Trust" inscriptions. This error made the coin incredibly rare, as very few were ever produced with this double die feature. It's one of the most valuable minting errors in modern coinage, and this particular 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is considered a once-in-a-lifetime find for collectors. So, there you have it. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is not just a piece of history, it's a coin with the potential to be a collector's dream. Whether it's a simple coin from your pocket change or a rare, million-dollar find, this coin proves that there's always something exciting in the world of numismatics. Show the $1.3 million coin again with "sold for $1.3 million" text on screen. Do you have a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar in your collection? Or have you ever stumbled upon a coin with a surprising value? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more amazing coin stories and tips on how to grow your own collection. We're diving deep into a special piece of American history, the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar coin. We'll explore its fascinating history, what makes it so valuable, and why it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million in some rare cases. If you're a coin collector or simply someone curious about the world of rare coins, stick around for this exciting journey. Let's start with the history. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, just a few months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The coin was created as a tribute to his legacy, and it replaced the Benjamin Franklin half-dollar. Designed by Gilroy Roberts, the coin features Kennedy's profile on the obverse, and the reverse features the U.S. presidential seal. The 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar was minted in Denver, marked with a D mint mark to indicate its origin. But did you know that it wasn't originally supposed to have a large circulation? It was actually meant to be a commemorative coin, yet its design was so popular that it stayed in regular circulation. Now, the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar represents more than just a piece of history. It's become a symbol of American coinage. Taking a closer look at the coin itself, the design stands out. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of President Kennedy, surrounded by the words "Liberty" and the date 1972. Below, we have the motto "In God We Trust." On the reverse, we see the traditional eagle with its wings spread, holding a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by the words "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and half-dollar. The design reflects the strength and unity of the nation, with the eagle symbolizing power and peace. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1972 D version of this coin so special? Most 1972 D Kennedy half-dollars aren't worth a whole lot. You'll find them in pocket change or at your local coin shop for just a few dollars. However, there's a catch. Some of these coins are extremely rare, and one in particular has sold for a staggering $1.30 million. What makes it so special? Well, it all comes down to a few key factors: minting errors and the coin's condition. The key error in some 1972 D coins is a unique variety known as the 1972 D double die reverse. This error occurred during the minting process, where the die used to strike the coin was misaligned. This led to a doubled image on the reverse side of the coin, particularly around the words half-dollar. This doubling is subtle but significant enough to catch the attention of collectors looking for rare varieties in addition to the double die variety. Coins that are in exceptional condition, such as those graded mint state 65 or higher, can fetch a hefty price. The condition of the coin is critical. Higher grade coins with minimal wear or imperfections are more sought after by collectors. The most valuable 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar is the double die reverse variety. This error is rare, and it's what caused the $1.3 million sale in recent years. When these coins are graded by professional services like the PCGS or NGC, the doubling is clearly visible, and it's one of the most prized errors in modern U.S. coinage. Collectors flock to this coin because of its rarity and its historical significance, especially when in mint condition. If you happen to come across one of these coins in your collection, don't just spend it. Get it evaluated, as it might be worth far more than its face value. Now that you know what makes the 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar so special, Let's talk about how to identify the double die reverse error. Examine the reverse side of the coin. Look closely at the words half dollar, as this is where the doubling is most prominent. Focus on the letters half and dollar. You'll notice that the lettering appears to be doubled, giving it a shadow-like effect. This is a telltale sign of the error. Use magnification. A magnifying glass or a loupe is essential to spot this error. It can be difficult to see with the naked eye, but with a little close-up examination, you'll spot it. Once you've identified this rare error, your coin could be worth thousands or even more, depending on its condition. So, don't forget to check your collection or any coins you come across in circulation. So, is the 1972 D. Kennedy half dollar worth millions? Well, not every coin from 1972 is going to make you a millionaire. But if you happen to find one with the double die reverse error in mint condition, you could be holding a piece of history worth a fortune. Coins like this have sold for up to $1.3 million, and as more collectors flock to rare varieties, their value could continue to rise. Remember, the key to getting the most out of your coin collection is knowledge and careful examination. If you think you have a rare coin, always have it appraised by a professional to determine its true worth. We're diving deep into the history, value, and incredible worth of a coin that you might have in your collection or even in your pocket right now. The 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar. But hold on tight, because this coin has a fascinating story and, believe it or not, it's worth up to $1.2 million in some rare cases. Hello, friends. I'm $1 Coins, and I'm thrilled to talk about one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, the Kennedy half dollar. But before we get into why this 1971 D could make you a millionaire, let's take a look at its history and what makes it so special. Following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him with a coin bearing his likeness. The Kennedy half dollar was introduced in 1964, just months after his death, as a tribute to the 35th President of the United States. While the coin's design was revolutionary in itself, the 1971 version, minted with a D for Denver, marks a particularly important milestone. It's the first year that Kennedy half dollars were produced without any silver content, which was a significant change in the coin's makeup. The 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar, minted in Denver, is part of a series that saw a major change. Prior to 1971, the coin was made of 90% silver. But with rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition in 1971. Now, the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar isn't necessarily rare in its standard form. It has a mintage of over 100 million coins, making it quite common for collectors to find. So, why are some of these coins worth a fortune? Let's explore. Here's the catch. While most of the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollars are worth only face value 50 cents, there's a very rare variety of this coin that has been known to fetch up to $1.2 million at auction. This million-dollar version of the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar has a unique feature. It's a double die obverse. This means that the engraving on the coin's obverse, the side with Kennedy's portrait, was struck twice, creating a visible doubling effect on the details, especially around the word Liberty and the date. Now, don't get too excited just yet. These error coins are extremely rare. Only a few have been discovered, and even fewer are in perfect condition. So how can you tell if your 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar is worth $1 million? The key is in the details. You'll need to look for the telltale doubling of the letters in Liberty and the date. If you find one, make sure it's authenticated by a reputable grading service. Before you start dreaming about what to spend your $1.2 million on, you'll need to get the coin professionally graded. Coin grading is a way of determining the quality and condition of a coin, which significantly affects its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. For a 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar to be worth millions, it needs to be in nearly perfect condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins with a grade of MS65 or higher are generally considered in excellent condition, but for the big bucks, you're looking at coins graded 67 or higher. Make sure to have your coin assessed by a professional service like PCGS or NGC for accurate results. While the $1 million error coin is an anomaly, the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar is still a favorite among collectors. Even if you don't have a double die obverse, this coin can still be valuable in high grades. Some collectors even focus on complete sets of Kennedy half dollars from different years and mints, including the 1971 D. Additionally, finding a 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar in uncirculated condition can increase its value beyond face value, especially for those building a collection of high-quality coins. If you're just starting out as a coin collector or already have a growing collection, make sure to pay attention to condition, rarity, and potential minting errors. You never know. The next coin you discover could be worth far more than you expect. So, there you have it. The 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar is an iconic piece of American history. While most of these coins are still worth only 50 cents, rare minting errors like the double die obverse can make them worth a staggering $1.2 million. If you're lucky enough to own one, get it graded and authenticated. It could be your ticket to a small fortune. We're diving into an incredible coin from the U.S. Mint, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar. Now, you may be thinking, isn't that just a regular coin? Well, not exactly. Some of these coins are worth way more than their face value, and we're going to find out why. We'll also uncover the fascinating history behind the coin, its value today, and how one of these could be worth up to a staggering $1.2 million. Let's get started. First, let's take a step back in time. The Kennedy half dollar was first minted in 1964, just after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The U.S. Mint wanted to honor his legacy, and what better way than to put his image on a coin? Designed by Gilroy Roberts and Frank Gasparo, the coin features a striking portrait of JFK on the obverse front, with the famous presidential seal on the reverse back. The Kennedy half dollar became an instant symbol of remembrance and respect. However, by the mid-1970s, the U.S. Mint started to look for ways to make these coins more affordable and appealing, as there was a rising cost of silver. So, in 1976, something special happened. In honor of America's bicentennial, celebrating 200 years of independence, the Kennedy half dollar underwent a redesign for the 1976 coin. For the first time, the reverse of the coin featured an exciting new design: the Liberty Bell and the moon, signifying America's progress from independence to the historic Apollo 11 moon landing. On top of the Liberty Bell, you'll notice a 1776 to 1976 inscription, a bold nod to the nation's past and future. This design change made the 1976 Kennedy half dollar stand out as a true collector's item. So why are we talking about this specific coin today? Well, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar is more than just a piece of history. It's a piece of treasure. You might think all 1976 coins are worth a few dollars, but there's one particular version that can fetch up to $1.2 million. Here's the catch. The 1976 Kennedy half dollar was minted in two variations, one in regular copper-nickel clad and the other in 40% silver. The silver version, often referred to as the silver proof, was only available in proof sets. These coins were struck with a higher level of detail and polish, giving them a mirror-like finish. But it's not just the silver content that makes certain coins valuable. In fact, it's the special edition known as the 1976 no-mint mark variety that can fetch a small fortune. That's right, some 1976 Kennedy half-dollar coins were released without the mint mark, and that mistake makes them incredibly rare and desirable to collectors. These coins were supposed to have a mint mark, D for Denver or S for San Francisco, but a small batch was accidentally struck without any mint mark at all. Since these coins were originally sold as part of a proof set, finding a 1976 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark is like finding a hidden gem. So how much is a 1976 Kennedy half dollar worth today? Well, the value really depends on the condition and the specific variety of the coin. If you're holding on to a regular 1976 Kennedy half dollar, you're looking at around 50 cents to a couple of dollars at most, depending on its wear and tear. However, the silver-proof versions of the 1976 Kennedy half dollar have a much higher value. As of today, they can range from $5 to $20 depending on their condition. And for collectors looking for the perfect specimen, the value only rises. But here's where it gets exciting. The true treasure comes in the form of the 1976 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar. These are incredibly rare, and if you're lucky enough to find one in excellent condition, you could be holding on to something worth as much as $1.2 million. That's right, $1.2 million for a coin with a simple mistake. Of course, the value of any rare coin depends on factors like its condition, provenance, and current market trends. But the 1976 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most sought-after coins among collectors and has been known to fetch record-breaking auction prices. So how do you know if you have one of these valuable coins? The first step is to inspect the coin for the mint mark. Most 1976 Kennedy half-dollars will have either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. If your coin is missing the mint mark, you might be looking at a rare find. Make sure to examine the coin under a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Check the edge, the strike, and overall wear. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning no wear or damage, are worth the most. Now, it's not easy to come across one of these rare coins, but if you do, make sure you get it authenticated by a professional grading service. Coins graded by organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, will have an official grade that can help boost its value when selling. Well, there you have it, the fascinating history of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, its value, and the rare version that could make you a millionaire. If you have one of these coins hiding in your collection, now's the time to get it checked out. Could be worth a lot more than you think. We're diving into one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable coins in U.S. history. The 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar. This coin may not look like much to the untrained eye, but did you know that one could be worth up to $1.5 million? Yes, you heard that right. Stick around, because today, we'll cover its history, value, and how you can spot the rare ones worth a fortune. First, let's take a step back in time and explore the history behind the 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar. To understand the significance of the 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar, we have to start with the history of the coin itself. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964 following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Initially, it was meant to honor Kennedy's legacy, featuring a portrait of him on the obverse, that's the front side of the coin. The coin became a staple in American currency, but as time went on, it faced decreasing circulation. By the 1970s, the Kennedy half-dollar was mostly used for commemorative purposes rather than daily transactions. Now, 1976 was a special year in the U.S. The country was celebrating its bicentennial, 200 years of independence. To mark this historic occasion, the U.S. Mint decided to release a special version of the Kennedy half-dollar. For the 1976 coins, a redesigned reverse was created by artist Dennis R. Williams. Instead of the traditional eagle design, the new reverse features the iconic bicentennial design, a colonial drummer boy. However, you may notice something unique about the 1976 series. There are two versions of the coin. One is the regular 1976 coin, and the other is a special bicentennial version. The coin we're talking about today, the 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar, was minted in Denver, and it's a part of this bicentennial set. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar. So, you're probably wondering, what makes the 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar worth so much? The truth is, most 1976 D coins are worth just a few dollars over face value, around $3 to $5, depending on their condition. But, and this is a big but, there's one rare variant of this coin that could have you sitting on a gold mine. Here's where things get interesting. The 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar comes with a very rare and unique mint error, one that has been known to sell for up to $1.5 million. Yes, the rare coin we're talking about is the 1976 D. Kennedy half-dollar with a double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice by the die, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the lettering and other elements of the coin. This error happens during the minting process, and it's extremely rare, which makes it highly desirable to collectors. The doubling on these coins is most noticeable on the Liberty and "In God We Trust" inscriptions, as well as the date 1976. If you have one of these coins in your collection, it could be worth much more than you expected. So, how do you know if your 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar is one of these rare, valuable coins? Identifying a rare 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar with a double die error requires a sharp eye. First, you'll want to look closely at the coin's inscriptions, especially Liberty, "In God We Trust," and the year 1976. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to check for any noticeable doubling in these areas. If you see a clear, noticeable doubling in the lettering or numbers, congratulations. You might have found a coin worth thousands or even millions. It's also a good idea to have your coin professionally graded by a service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service. These grading companies can confirm the authenticity of your coin's error and provide a certificate of authenticity. Now, what if you don't find any doubling on your 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar? Don't be discouraged. Even without the error, this coin still has historical value, and depending on its condition, it can be worth anywhere from $3 to $20. But if you're lucky enough to have a double die error, that $1.5 million price tag could become a reality. Coin collecting is a hobby that spans generations. Whether you're just starting or you've been collecting for decades, the thrill of discovering a rare and valuable coin never gets old. And the 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar is just one example of how coins from our history can hold incredible value. So, keep searching through your change jars, and remember, sometimes treasure is just a coin away.